And back to our breaking news, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau posting to social media saying tariffs on Canada from the U.S. have been delayed for at least the next 30 days. We're joined live by Eric Ham, CTV Political Analyst. Eric, thanks so much for being here. What do you know about what happened on that phone call between Trudeau and Trump?
Well, it seems like what we are now hearing is that a deal was actually struck, that Canada is now going to actually aggressively go after fentanyl. They're going to work very closely with the United States on a military task force to ensure that fentanyl doesn't come across the border. And very much like what we saw with the meeting between President Donald Trump and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, they have agreed to actually pause these punishing tariffs for at least 30 days.
How much of this is almost just political posturing, Eric? The fact of the matter is there's 1% of fentanyl in the U.S., according to lawmakers, that actually comes from Canada. But still, the Prime Minister agreeing to do what he can, I guess, to bolster support at the border to prevent even that 1% from coming in.
Here's how this was, I think, such a major win for Canada specifically. We have always known for Donald Trump what the issue was that was causing him much consternation when it came to Mexico. It was the issue of the southern border and many illegals flowing through into the United States, and of course, the drug cartels. However, with Canada, we saw that goalpost continuously move. It was 1 minute, it was fentanyl. The next minute, it was the trade imbalance, which really isn't a trade imbalance. But of course, Donald Trump continued to make it one. And so the fact that we saw the Prime Minister actually drill the president down on a particular issue and make the president stay focused on that particular issue, which the Prime Minister was now able to address. I think this is a very huge win because for so long, we were even told from our sources that many Canadian officials simply did not know what the Trump administration wanted and what exactly could they do to avert this trade war. But now we clearly see at least Donald Trump, at least today, was able to settle on an issue. What happens in 30 days? It's Donald Trump, so it's anyone's guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's unpredictable. And as you alluded to, he was moving the goalposts. I mean, today he was ranting about U.S. banks not being able to operate in Canada, which categorically isn't true. There are 16 of them that do operate here in this country. What was the pressure like, Eric, from within the United States? Because this would have been not only crippling for the Canadian economy, but would have had tremendous impact on the south side of the border, too.
Oh, absolutely. More than 2/3 of the individual states have Canada as their biggest trading partner, which means most of their goods are imported directly from Canada. And most of those states are actually states that are dominated and run by Republicans. So we have already begun to see that there was an enormous amount of pressure being placed on the Trump administration and this White House to try to avert this catastrophic trade war, because it was going to be those lawmakers who were going to feel the brunt of this. And we have to remember, midterm elections are just around the corner in less than 24 months. And you have Republican senators who are defending more seats than Democrats, which means if this war were to take hold and we would see many of those local and regional economies crater, it was going to be those Republican senators, those Republican House makers who were actually going to feel the brunt politically, not necessarily Donald Trump.
And certainly we've heard from some of the Republican lawmakers, whether they were publicly outcrying this or if they were privately kind of doing it in one-on-one meetings with Canadian mayors, border city mayors, Canadian lawmakers. They were concerned about what this would mean. And of course, Donald Trump is going to paint this as a win for him, Eric, because he always does. How do you think he's going to do that?
Well, he's going to say he got both Mexico and in fact, he's already doing a victory lap with Mexico, saying he's gotten Mexico to place 10,000 troops on the border. But newsflash, back when Donald Trump was in his first term and he was threatening a trade war with Canada and Mexico, what we saw then were 10,000 troops from various Latin American countries that placed those troops on the border. And so clearly what we saw here was Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum actually take a page from that playbook to placate Donald Trump. And that's what we're seeing here as well. It's not necessarily that Canada did anything differently. We've already seen that they were aggressively attempting to seize the small amount of fentanyl that was coming from their side of the border. And I think what we saw was this was a matter of packaging and marketing, and we know that's what Donald Trump responds to.
For sure. And certainly he's going to spin it however he feels he needs to spin it. The fact of the matter is Parliament had already approved this $1.5 billion border plan on this side as well. So he was just kind of looking for things to gripe about. Eric, how do you think certainly like border city mayors, governors are going to be responding to this? What are they going to be pushing the president to do from 30 days from now onwards?
Well, right now they're going to breathe a huge, huge sigh of relief. But I think going forward, I think now becomes the issue of educating Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has walked back from a ledge that was going to take the United States over a collective cliff. And so I think beginning today, for the next 30 days, you're going to see a number of mayors, governors, and lawmakers try as best they can, not only to educate Donald Trump, but to also push this message to the press, because we know that's what Donald Trump responds to.
Eric Ham, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it, and your analysis as well.
Thank you.